Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another breakfast with Blaha. And today I'm having watermelon. Yep, just watermelon. I'm doing this for a couple days, which is ironic given the topic of the video. But today I want to talk to you guys about a very easy strategy that simplifies things for reaching your protein intake when cutting. And there's a reason I feel like I need to make this video. Normally I make fun of people. I've made fun of people in comments and everything else. I've made statuses laughing, going, people, what are you guys talking about? You can't hit your protein numbers. It's hard. Or like, how do you get that much protein, Jason? Like, to me, that's ludicrous. Personal trainers who work with the Gen Pop on my Facebook all the time, who make all these posts about trying to hit protein intake and how their clients struggle to do it. And it blows my mind because to me, I'm like, you buy protein food, you put it in your mouth, you chew it, and you swallow it. That's all there is to it. You just weigh out the amount of meat that you need to hit your protein and you eat it. But for a lot of people, what's been pointed out to me, I had another trainer point that out to me when I made a status on that a while back. He goes, yeah, but Jason, you build your meals around protein foods. A lot of people who are new to this, they don't. And this is a problem when people are in a calorie deficit. Why? Because hitting protein is very important when you're cutting. It's probably more important when you're cutting than when you're bulking. It's more difficult as people are trying to eat normal foods or whatever. They're trying to eat carbs and fat and things and then add all this protein to it to get there and stay under their calorie goals. Whereas when you're bulking, it's not that hard, especially for men. You guys are gaining. I mean, it's rare for any of my younger clients who are bulking to eat less than 3,500 calories. And I don't mean guys who are 200 pounds either. I'm talking my skinny guys. That's what's necessary for them to gain any weight if they're active and I have them training hard. They don't gain weight on 3,000 calories. They'll be stuck at 170 pounds the rest of their life. So they're eating a lot of calories. It's really easy to get your protein. Not a problem. You almost don't even really need to track. As long as you're eating some meat and dairy, most of them are eating way over their needs. It's not an issue. Start cutting, it becomes a problem. So the trick is to build your meals around protein first. In other words, you don't stand there and go, okay, I'm doing rice and chicken and broccoli or whatever. That's an unwise way to do it. I'm going to go with my protein sources because I usually do steak or Greek yogurt. Those are my two big protein sources. It's going to be very simple. Let's say that your target is 150 grams of protein, right? Someone my size, that's appropriate even for cutting, right? Even at 100 kilos. We would want a hair more, but here's the thing. You're getting in. I'm going to get incidental protein from my plant sources. I usually kind of look at targets and go, if I want to get at least 150 grams of protein, I usually mean from animal sources, high bioavailability. Plant proteins are a lower bioavailability. They don't count the same gram per gram. So what do? All right. I like to look oftentimes at protein and micronutrients is the basis of my meal. So I might look at that first meal and go, okay, it's going to be steak and broccoli. It's going to be steak and broccoli. That's the meal. We fill remaining calories with carbs or fat, depending on what we're doing. Right? That's your secondary consideration. You look at it and say, what am I going to eat for this meal? Well, If I need 150 grams of protein, what do I need to do? I need 50 grams, so I'm going to eat 3 big meals. I need 50 grams to come from my steak. Well, that's approximately half a pound of my steak uncooked, 8 ounces of steak. Notice I approximate things like this. I track exact calories, but you don't have to get grams of micronutrients that close. You can be off by 20%. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Anyone who's telling you otherwise is lying. Not how the body works. It doesn't care. But we do care about those total calories. Get that right. But I'm just ballparking. So you say, okay, I can get roughly 50 grams of protein from that steak. 8 ounces. What if I need 70, 75 grams? Let's say I'm trying to go over 200. All right. Well, in that case, I'm not going to need 8 ounces. I'm going to need 12 ounces of steak. You get 12-ounce sections of steak weighed out before you cook it. You can meal prep this stuff ahead of time. I do. I'll cook 2 days worth of meat at once in one meal. Set it to the side in containers in the fridge, and then cook it into my other stuff. Cook it into my rice and things. All right. So you have your 50 grams or your 75 grams roughly of protein from steak. You add the amount of broccoli you need to get the vitamins and minerals, right? So you say you're going to take half a pound of broccoli with that. Gives us our full RDA on vitamin C and stuff. Now, you can then fill the remainder with your rice, your brown rice, your white rice. I do brown rice. To get the rest of the calories, right? You figure out what were your calories for that meal. You look at that and say, what is that? That steak is 300 calories, depending on what cut and how much you put in there. 300 calories, right? And let's say I want my meal to be, ballpark 800 calories. We've already added that about 50 calories of the broccoli. You probably need about 3/4 of a cup of brown rice. That's your dry measurement. Again, you can go tally all this up at the end of the day in Chronometer or something to get it all perfect. But just a ballpark for that meal. Okay, you do that, you cook that all in your Instapot, your rice making, throw it all together. You now have steak, brown rice, broccoli done. You do the same thing, one of my other big meals. Now, if you don't want to do, let's say you're not doing a bunch of carbs, okay, you can fill those remaining calories with nut butters. Almond butter, peanut butter, guacamole. You can weigh out your guacamole, mix it on top of some steak and steamed broccoli, mix it all up together. All right, you've now got fat in place of that. You got fat. You can do the same thing with the Greek yogurt. I like to do Greek yogurt and oats with fruit. The same process. Figure out how much Greek yogurt you need to reach your goals. I like to do it in just segments of a container. Figure out how much you need to get your 50 or your 70 grams, your 80 grams, whatever you're doing for each meal, so you can hit your target protein. That's where you start. That's your base. And then you add the amount of oats you need to get your carbohydrate and calories. Again, if you're doing higher fat, you add the amount, you weigh out the amount of nuts or nut butter, almond butter, whatever you're putting in there. And that's how you do this. It's that simple. You just use protein as your base. That is your foundation of each meal. And if you do it that way, this is simple. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.